So, what about, is there anything interesting in class that you learn? Some new things that you learn?
I learned about sequences in English.
Mm-hmm.
And for science, I learned about the scientific endeavor.
What is the interesting thing that you learn, new thing that like, wow, boggled your mind? Wow, wonderful, amazed you. Was there anything like that?
Not really.
Not really. But try to dig in and see whether you can find anything and say as if like it really excited you, you know. So one of the things about oral examination is for you to be able to speak up, fill in the details, and only that you express your feelings. Okay, let your feelings pour over, make it interesting, make the conversation interesting. And once your conversation is very interesting, it's engaging, right? That is the critical word there, the key word, to make it engaging for the invigilators. It's no problem, right? Okay, so the time is up, and okay, the other people who are supposed to be in are not in yet. Do you have any questions for me regarding last week's work, last week's coverage in the 88 in this session? Do you remember what it is that it was that we covered? We're talking about situational writing, maybe.
Editing and situational writing.
So what can you remember from that session that we covered? What was it that you learned?
Purpose, audience, and context.
Yeah, but that is something you all had covered in the primary school. Is that it? Right? So anything new that surprised you, or it's something that you never knew before about situational writing?
Uh,
Like for instance, in terms of the exam requirements, what is required of you is different from as compared with the primary school, the PSLE.
mm,
So
uh,
how many words do you have to write minimum?
100.
No, it's 250 words. Okay, right? 250 words. In your PSLE, that is for your free writing. 250 words is for your free writing. 150 words is for your situational writing. Is that right? Something like that, if I remember correctly. So it is as long as your free writing. And for your free writing for O level, it is 350 words. Sorry, I think 300 words. Okay, 300 words. 300 to 450. Whereas for your situational writing, it be at least 250 words. So in other words, if you drop below 250 words, they will actually penalize you, right? The Cambridge marker. So that's for the O level. I don't know about what your school would. Sorry, what school are you from again? Did you say?
I'm from Maristella.
Ah, okay. So I don't know what your Maris Stella policy is for your set one, the lower set. Has your teacher given you the requisites for your essays, the different essays, situation writing, free writing? No, not yet. Yeah. So usually they will try to ease the set ones. Okay, schools usually will try to ease the set ones into the system. So maybe they will follow the PSLE requirements as a start, right? And then slowly they will increase. I don't know. I know some schools like the good schools will throw the students in the deep end of the pool. And then the students will have to learn how to swim themselves straight away, get bite deeply into the requirements. And still, whatever it is, okay. And don't forget the situational writing. How is it different from the PSLE formats in terms of the questions? The PSLE formats, you have storyboards, don't you? It's like those frames of what's happening, right? The sequence of actions and things that happen, events. But what about the O level? The examples that you saw,
In O level,
or in secondary school, right?
in
So,
secondary school,
uh, what is the graphic? What is the graphic resource given to you?
mm, context.
So it is a little bit like your comprehension. In your PSLE comprehension, you have those with posters, right? Remember that? Okay, you have those with posters, and then it give you multiple choice questions. Remember? Okay, so maybe a poster about a school event, or a poster about maybe Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is coming, so maybe a Chinese New Year event. So the resource, the graphic text that are given to you as part of the situational writing, they are something like this. Some kind of like looks like real life posters, brochures, information text, right? Text that give you information, but they do have pictures as well sometimes. Maybe it's a series of pictures about the different kinds of activities that go on in the zoo, for instance, right? For group visitors. You get it? Right? Okay. Any questions you want to ask? No. Any questions that you want to ask about your school work? What you have covered in school, and maybe you want to clarify something, or you want to get into it a little bit more. You mentioned something about sequence of what? What sequence?
Sequences, like
Sequences.
the
As in the markers, the logical markers or logical connectors that indicate sequence. Is that it? Okay, give me some examples.
like firstly, mm,
Firstly, secondly, right? What else?
only
Finally, next, right? Next. Um, um, what
after
else is
that,
there? After that, yeah. So these are what called they show you the sequence of the points, which one comes after which, right? Very good. So did you have practice to use these sequences? Yeah. And but I'm sure you have used these sequences before in your primary school writing, haven't you? Yeah, right. It's just now to kind of a revision and to get you to understand more, and perhaps give you more examples, more sophisticated examples of sequences. Okay. Um, uh, like for example, first and foremost, right? Have you come across this before? Yeah. Have you used it in your writing before? No. You have used it before. First and foremost. Yeah, you have used it before. Very good. Right? So the different kinds of the sequences. Now these are called logical connectors, and there are different kinds of logical connectors. Sequences are one of them. Did you learn logical connectors in the primary school? I think you have, right? So what are the other kinds of logical connectors? I give an example. You have the logical connectors of addition. So things like moreover, furthermore. What else?
Additionally.
Additionally or in addition, right? On top of that. So all these are to show that the next point is an addition to the previous point. Okay. And of course, you have also logical connector of contrast. Could you give some examples of logical connectors? Contrast. Where one point is seen to be the opposite of a previous point. So in contrast, right? So you would say Singapore is a very small nation. In contrast, China is a huge nation. Does it sound okay? Right. What other logical contrast connectors are there?
However.
Very good. So they have however, you have nevertheless, you have on the other hand, right? So there's so many different kinds. Okay. Can you name another logical connector type? So we have sequences, we have additions, we have contrasts. What else? What else can you remember, recall? Starts with the letter R. And it answers the question, why? Starts with the letter R and it answers the question, why? So what kind of a statement is that?
Rhetorical question.
Not rhetorical question, because rhetorical question actually is a question that you don't have to answer. Okay. But this one, you have to give a why. When someone say, hey, why? Then your response is to give a what?
Uh,
When someone asks you
reason.
why, sorry?
Reason.
Exactly. That's right. Very good. So you have the reason. You have a logical connector of reason, right? So what are examples of logical connectors of reason?
Because.
Yes, because you have a because you have a reason. The answer to this is, or the reason is, okay. Just use the word reason, like in contrast, in contrast. For this reason. Now, of course, you have things like cause and effects, right? Cause and effects as a result, so on and so forth. Okay, so there are many kinds of logical connectors. So in your situational writing, you have to use a lot of logical connectors in order to get your language marks, right? So in secondary school, you really have to be very, very solid and very sound in your knowledge and practical usage of uh, logical connectors. The other one that requires logical connectors a lot in scoring is your summary. Have you been given an example of a summary question yet in comprehension? Okay, a summary question. So a summary question is usually about 15 marks, and the language is about 7 marks. Okay, so in order for you to get as high marks as possible in the language, use a lot of of course grammar is important, but the logical connectors in order to create a smooth flow of points. That's very important. Okay, and of course in free writing, especially for expository writing, and most of it will be expository writing. The closest to narrative writing that you have in your secondary school will be your recounts.